Rabbi Lazer Brody, welcome to the program. And you didn't hear the intro, Rabbi Brody. I'm Walter Bingham, and Tamar has just left because she is in a little bit of pain.
Okay. How are you, Walter?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
And a Shavua Tov, a good week to all our listeners. Okay, for Walter, the thing is like this. We see from different sections within our population, we see, especially on the leftists, you can see this on the all leftist media, as if Jewish national pride and Jewish nationalism is a crime. We also see in certain Haredi sectors, ultra-religious sectors, that also think that Jewish national pride and Jewish nationalism is a crime. But let's take a look at what the Torah really says about it, how this is reflected in today's current events. You can see it's a key to understanding current events. So if we see just what we read yesterday in Shul in the Torah, yesterday in the synagogue, and Parshat Bechukotai, the Torah says, Olech otchem komiyut. Hashem says, I'm going to carry you to freedom. Komiyut is really a play on words. It means independence and freedom. And it also means, as Rashi explains, an upright posture. In other words, that you can walk with your chin up high. Now, people say, wait a second, walking with our chin up high, that's arrogance. No, personally it is. But on a national basis, this is exactly what Hashem expects of us. Just we are expected to be proud that we are Jews, proud that we have the yoke of 613 mitzvahs, and not the yoke of flesh and blood. For this particular reason, the Torah says, this is why Hashem took us out of Egypt, so that we won't be slaves to Pharaoh anymore, but will be servants of Hashem. Hashem did not take us out of Egypt so that we could play the slot machines in Monte Carlo and go to see Manchester United. Okay, it's not our purpose. Our purpose is to serve Hashem. Now, this is further elaborated. If we want to know what the proper hashkafa, the Jewish outlook is, in national pride and Jewish nationalism, an amazing section in Rabbi Natan of Breslev's commentary on the Shulchan Aruch, which is called Likutei Halachot, in section Orach Chaim. Rabbi Natan comments on the idea of what's komimiyut, which we just said is a play on words between independence and an upright stature. Rabbi Natan of Breslev says that the entire saga of the Torah, all the tales that the Torah relates in the 5 books of Moses, the travels and the trials and the tribulations and all the wars, these are all for the purpose of conquering the land of Israel. It's all one thing, to bring the Jewish people into the land of Israel. Now, Rabbi Natan further elaborates, and he says that we cannot conquer the land of Israel without azut ve'akshanut. In other words, without a holy brazenness, if we can define it like that. And we know being just a brazen person, a person with chutzpah, that's not a good character trait. But when this is used for holiness, this is not only a good character trait, it is a necessary character trait for Jews. Now, the Gemara says that the Jews are the brazen of all the peoples in the world. In other words, when we use this for holiness, and we see that the greatest things in the world is done, and when it is not used in holiness, then you get a government where all the leaders are either they're accused or suspected of all kinds of criminal behavior and lewd behavior and things that don't become a regular citizen, much less a leader of a nation. So therefore, we have to take our qualities that Hashem gives us and use them for the purpose of realizing our Jewish nationalism, which is coming to the land of Israel and taking over the land of Israel, which is not easy, especially since there are so many enemies, millions of enemies all around, and not easy enemies, tough enemies. We see that the enemies of Israel, they're not pushovers like people thought they once would be. That we see now that the Hezbollah is trained by Iran. They're the best standing army in the world. And to see how history repeats itself, and that the words of a tzaddik, in this case I mentioned Rabbi Natan of Breslev, okay, and he says that all the wars, the personal wars that a Jew has, are just portions of the national war, which is to help that person to develop Emuna, his faith, and his stalwart stand in conquering his share in the land of Israel. This is Rabbi Natan of Breslev. Let's fast forward to the Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1984. If we see what the Lubavitcher Rebbe wrote in 1984, in the winter of 1984, about Camp David, and we take out the Camp David and we plug in today's peace talks with the peace about Hamas, where we know people, all kinds of declarations, we won't talk to Hamas, and we see that the Israeli government, the current government, is tantamount in recognizing Hamas, and it's not a treaty, it's capitulation. There's much talk about this ceasefire, which is I can't understand how the Israeli government does something so naive when it just gives the Hamas a chance to regroup themselves. And they're coming to the peace table not like free people with an uplifted heads, bekumiyut, bekumas kufa, like Rashi says, with uplifted heads, but they're coming like slaves with a slave mentality. Now, it's very interesting. If you don't subscribe to Hasidic thought, and you don't subscribe to Rabbi Natan of Breslov, to Lubavitcher Rebbe, look at Rabbi Chaim of Volozhin, what he writes in Chumash Emek Davar. Rabbi Chaim of Volozhin says that kumimiyut, the upright head, having an upright head, it means having a free mentality and a pride mentality, a Jewish pride mentality. So we see Rabbi Chaim of Volozhin, who was the chief student of the Gaon of Vilna, says, right in favor of national pride, Jewish nationalism. It's right there. Anyone can go and see it right there.
Well, there were, of course, many others who made prophetic statements, and not least, of course, Rabbi Meir Kahane, Zichron Livrocha.
Of course. Walter, I could go all around, if we know, the Sephardim and the Hasidim and Lithuanians, wherever you want, and national, and of course, Rav Kook. But it's not only people are wrong in thinking that Jewish nationalism is only a concept of Rav Kook. Here we have the students of the Baal Shem Tov, and which is the Rabbi Nachman was a grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, a great grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, and we have the students of the Gaon of Vilna, which are the Chaim of Volozhin, way before Rav Kook was born, and they're talking about coming to Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, taking the land of Israel with azut de kedusha, with the brazenness of holiness. In other words, not being afraid of anyone else. That's a free person.
Rabbi Brody, I could listen to you for a few more hours, but we've got very little time left. So let me give you the website, your website. Let me give listeners your website. I'm sorry to interrupt you and cut you short, but in the middle of this wonderful drasha, it's Lazer, L-A-Z, or Z as you call it in America, E-R, Brody, .net, one word, of course.
Exactly, www.lazerbrody.net.
Well, thank you very much, Rabbi Brody, for another inspiring talk, and I look forward to next week.
Okay, Walter, take care and God bless.
Thank you very much.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.